introduce yourselves and the role you play in the band?
Yes, I guess we should probably start there. My name is Jesse. I'm in the Failsafe with this guy next to me, Devon. So I sing, do some of the songwriting, production. He is the bass player, also does a lot of the songwriting and production and pieces like that. So you have one half of the Failsafe here, and we're excited to be here. So thank you for having us.
We're excited to have you.
Yeah.
And then my second question was, what is the origin story of the band? And you
Oh,
kind of
geez. Okay.
had a little bit of it in there, but not probably all of it.
Yeah, so we started, so the three of us, not excluding him, I guess, Devin, Chad, Kyle, myself, we were in a band for a couple of years that I was in for a long time. Met them in the other band, and we were a four-piece. It was like a rock, pop, electronic, male lead vocal, a female lead vocal, dual vocals together, a lot of stuff going on. But we really like, it was my passion project, my first project really, that I tried to get off the ground. And that project ended, but the three of us still wanted to do music together. And so we kind of looked at the situation. We're like, man, we never had those like hardcore fans, or we never had those diehards, or people who are willing to run through a wall for us. And I contributed that for a couple things. Maybe just we never adjusted to modern social media. We were kind of stuck in like the 2000 early 2000 teens and what was effective then. A lot of it's changed, but also we just never picked a lane. So we're like, you know what, we're just going to be rock. We're just gonna be heavy rock. We'll throw some elements of electronic and pop and everything in, but we're a rock band, and we're gonna do that. We're not trying to be a pop band. We're not trying to be an electronic band. We're just a straight rock band, and we're just gonna go balls to the wall, rock your effing face off, and go from there. And we also just really decided, hey, we're just gonna have a really energetic show. The last band, we were really kind of held propped up with a light show and everything like that, which is cool. But this show, we're like, hey, we want to challenge ourselves to just be the best band without anything else on the stage, just us. And we just really went at it. And that's kind of how we started. And that's what we've been doing since. And everything, I guess we've just been kind of growing since there. We've released quite a bit of music in our short time being a band. We got more on the way, been able to tour around the country, seen a lot of the country now, good, bad, and the ugly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're just looking forward to doing more of it.
Where did the band name come from?
Good question. We all sat down with all of our names and we're like, hey, what do you think of this? Nah, what do you think of this? And Kyle actually came up with the Failsafe. He's a guitar player, and it was very fitting because it's like we all had this, we had this band that we were pushing everything in, and then it just didn't work out. And this was essentially our Failsafe. Hey, if this doesn't work, I had all these other new songs, and these guys are working on stuff. We just had this Failsafe project. So if this doesn't work, this is what we'll do to push ourselves musically. And so it all just kind of fit. And then for some reason it was like safe, like a key or like a lock. And then we started going in that direction and incorporated that into our logo. Yeah, it just kind of evolved as it went. But yeah, the Failsafe was essentially, this was our Failsafe to continue our music career. So this is what we did.
Yeah.
Names are a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I can say it.
Yeah.
On my last band, it was the same thing. It was like 100 names, and then we got so tired of it. It took so long, and I'm sure that's what it was like for you guys before I joined.
Yeah.
Where you just keep naming off names and like, no, that's not cool. That's not cool, and that's not cool. And then I started telling, at least in the band before this, I said, dude, there's a band called Korn. Like, it's not going to be cool until you make it cool.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing too, is like I guess all of us, maybe with the exception of this guy over here, but we're very agreeable for the most part when it comes to working together. So we're all, yeah, that sounds cool. What do you think? Oh yeah, that sounds cool. So I was like, oh, well, which one? This one actually, that kind of fits more. We had more of a meeting. Yeah, let's go with that. So it wasn't like we're sitting down, like, writing the Declaration of Independence or anything like that,
It is
or writing
now.
a plan to steal the Declaration of Independence.
It is
We're
now.
just, now it's this guy's bringing some extra objections and being more of a fine-tooth comb, I suppose. But we like the name and we rolled with it.
It's a good
Yeah,
name.
I'm the critic.
I once, me and some friends were like, we should start a band, even though I can't even play any instruments. I'm like, what would we call ourselves? And we came up with like, yeah, but no.
Like, yeah, but no.
That sounds like a cover band.
It really does. Also, you could probably sing if you can't play an instrument, because you definitely can project your voice. I can tell by talking. So
I
that's the
suppose.
hardest
I've been told my mom's told me I sing good. I'm like, I don't know if I believe her.
you got the hardest part, which is just having that natural projection. If you can do that, everything else is a piece of cake.
Yeah, my hidden talent is I can belch really loud. So
Oh wow!
I don't know
So
if that helps.
Diaphragm.
Yes, I have a really
Diaphragm.
good. That's what my dad always said. It's from the diaphragm.
Yeah, you're like you're like an opera singer. You don't even know it.
Maybe. We're not gonna ask Chris to even attempt to sing or anything.
No.
No karaoke on this podcast.
It's been a long time. No, I used to front a couple hardcore bands like more than a decade ago, and it's no. It's been
You're
too
done
long.
with it.
It's been too long. On top of that, like I'm sick at the moment. I would definitely kill my vocal cords.
I'll take a rain check then.
He wants
Deal.
to hear you some other time.
Deal. The last time I was on stage and sang, I was actually doing I did like a small music promotion run for a bit. And there was a band an hour north that I was doing merch for. And the singer asked me if I wanted a guest on one of the songs when they played. I was like, sure. That's the last time I was on stage. That was 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2008's a long time.
Yes, pretty much before I got started. Even
Yeah, that was.
doing it before I was. Good for you.
Yeah.
I've never been in a band, so we've already discussed this.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
Yeah.
So how would you describe your music to someone who's never heard you before? And what two songs would you tell them to listen to first?
Ghost of You and Dying to Exist for sure.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I'll let you go with this one, Aaron.
For this one, I have to do it all the time at shows. Because when we go to shows, we go around and talk to everybody that we can. Especially if we're at a festival. If we're at a festival, people aren't there for us, and there's a lot of people that could potentially turn into fans / friends. And it's so I have to do this elevator pitch and like a big row. Like, okay, I gotta go to this group, this group, this group. And over and over and over and over and over again, I just say the same thing. Do you like hard rock music? And then I'll list off a few bands. I'll kind of cater it to bands. Like if they're wearing a shirt, that makes it really easy. If they're wearing like a Breaking Benjamin shirt, they're like, oh, you listen to Breaking Benjamin. We play hard rock. We do that same thing. We have kind of that simple song structure with elements of pop. And I always say like Breaking Benjamin or Hands Like Houses. We do a little bit of electronic stuff like Linkin Park, but kind of everybody does. It's not it's really listener friendly, and it's not like some super niche. It's just straight up radio rock.
So listener friendly hard rock or radio rock.
Yeah.
Okay. My elevator pitch is, look, I'll make you a deal. If you can watch us, and if you absolutely hate us, you never have to see us again.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
it is true. I mean, if you don't like a band, you don't have to listen to them again.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I usually lead with.
Just add that, or I'll throw in, just give it one song. Go up and listen to one song. We drove all the way up we're here from South Carolina.
Oh yeah, we use that a lot.
Took us 20 hours to get here. At least give us 5 minutes of your time.
It reminds me, that kind of reminds me of like Warped Tour days when bands used to go out before the doors opened and be like, hey, you want to listen to my music? With their little Walkman.
I
Yeah.
have
their
thought
CD.
about going out with a speaker.
Yeah, we do that to an extent. I mean, we'll go live on Instagram or TikToks or Facebooks or whatever, and we'll just kind of multicast them and say, hey, we're playing here. Everybody come out. And then one show, we actually had a sign that said, we'll rock for food. It was written on the back of a pizza delivery box, and we like walked up and down to this other show down the road. It was like a national festival or something like that, and we were trying to recruit people with that. They might have just thought we were homeless though, so I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember
So-
that show too. Every once in a while you get those days on tour where there's like nobody there and you have to make a crowd. So I remember there was one where it was actually dead, and we had to go around and we talked to the whole bar, and then we got a crowd and it worked. So it was
Sometimes you just gotta dig for the puck, you know.
yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm laughing just because you said if you don't like a band, you don't have to listen to them again, unless you have a really shitty podcasting partner with a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Oh
Chris is the one with the bad idea.
Um,
We did an episode together that we listened to bands that we didn't like before and tried to see if we liked them now. And it didn't go well.
it did not work.
Dude, most of them was the Failsafe on there?
Yeah, that was my
No.
question.
No.
No, these are bands from like back in early 2000s we listened to and just couldn't get into. And we were like, let's give them a try again. And it was just torture.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That God, what band would I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like what would I have liked back then that I would just not like anymore?
What about the other way around? What would you have hated back then that you really like now? Backstreet Boys for me. I actually joined into the crowd and I didn't like them. I'm like, oh, you're if you listen to them. And now I'm like, fuck all that. I love Backstreet Boys.
Honestly, like for me, it would probably be Genesis. Like
You like them now?
I liked like I'm talking like the Peter Gabriel stuff, the stuff in the late 70s where they're playing in drop C tunings for the first time ever, and like before Phil Collins took over, like I was like I would never listen to that, but now I'm like yes, this is a little pop in here, kind of cool. But yeah, as long as the failsafe wasn't on the disgusted list, I'm good.
It was
Uh,
not.
No, we won't go into that. That was a very painful episode. And even listening back when we were editing it, I was like, we should not have done this. But so who would you say are your biggest musical influences? And on top of that, do you have any maybe smaller local bands that influenced you guys?
You first.
Yeah, so in terms of influence, look, I grew up a big Amberlin fan on the rock side. I'm a big Weeknd fan, Post Malone fan, more rock, Bring Me the Horizon. I remember that when the Ammo album came out, like I listened to, oh, I got to rewrite songs because this sounds like garbage compared to this. I got to fix this shit. And so I did. Yeah, so that's kind of the influences. And now in terms of local bands, I'll say this. We were kind of positioned with a lot of great like local and regional bands that pushed us to be better. So we play with them like, oh man, they sound pretty good. Their music's good. They're getting a lot of good plays. They're getting good shows. We need to compete with that. We need to start getting these good shows and writing good songs. And so bands that come to mind, Dark Sun, and they're based out of Rockford, Illinois. Kind of like a modern take on old Alice in Chains. The dude has an incredible voice, and he was like, when we first started playing with him, he was like only 22 or something. I was like, holy shit, this guy has an amazing voice, blows me away. So there was that band, Dark Sun. I'd say like we played with Divide the Fall is a band, based out of Wisconsin, Minnesota. So I actually played with those guys in my last band, or members of that band. And now they had that thing going. I had the Failsafe going, so we're kind of, following them as they've started a few years before us. But yeah, that was a band that kind of motivated us to kind of push ourselves within our local scene. And I'm like, okay, they're out here trying to do something, make noise.
Mm-hmm.
We've been on the same stage as them. We should be able to do the same thing and start pushing ourselves. So those are two bands that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, and one more too, and this is a band based out of Pennsylvania, but Reign of Z. They're awesome people. They have a great sound. If you really like more of the metal operatic vocals of female vocals, kind of like an Evanescence, but a different take on it. Yeah, Reign of Z is great people. Yeah, and they're fun to hang out with too. I went to the Dominican Republic with them for some reason, and it was a good time. Oh, yeah.
For me, it would have to be on the local side of things. Probably Archers, I guess. Archers, these hearts back when they were a thing, for sure. I remember just in high school, like seeing them do everything that they were doing, and them being from the same town. I was like, oh wow, it's actually possible to do this stuff. Just seeing them go on tour and seeing them get better gear and making things happen, and also Divide the Fall, played with them a few times. It was really cool. And then over into national bands, like kind of what got me started, or at least thinking about it like this. Dude, there's so many.
Yeah, we can be here all night, I think. And I feel like I'm leaving a bunch of names off that list myself, but I'm just whatever's coming to me with short amount of time here. But
yeah, dude, it's almost like paralyzing to come up with what I can think of. But I'd have to say what first got me started. Like if we're thinking like yeah, I want to be in a band. That was probably A Day to Remember. I'd probably have to say, and I don't even listen to them that much anymore, which is kind of crazy. But Savage Hands locally too. That's another like up and comer band. That's like awesome.
yeah, their hands are really savage.
They are savage. Yeah, really cool sounding band.
Sorry, what, Chris?
What? No, so I'm gonna put a little bit of a twist on that question.
Okay.
So as a reference here, Johnny Depp says he got his inspiration for Jack Sparrow from Keith Richards on stage presence. Do you have anyone who influences your stage presence?
And I got it.
Yeah, you want it?
Yep, Andy Glass, Weekend as Romans. All day. I almost thought about dyeing my hair blonde.
Yeah, I'd say that I take my influence more from live production coaches than just a particular guy on stage as a musician, because usually if there's a musician doing it at a high level, I'm like, well, who's teaching him? And so I'll look at different videos on live production and just kind of YouTube it up, and then it'll come out. When I first started touring, I've after studying months of live production, I had my general live script, or my stage map as I called it. And then it felt kind of mechanical because I was, doing it in steps. But then once you did it more, everything was more natural. And now I don't even think about it. It's just like, this is just me now.
Wasn't it hard to get started? I remember that too. It was like the very first time I got on stage, I was like thinking in my head too much, and like even though there's like no people, that probably made it worse actually, is that there's like when you first start, there's like nobody there and stuff. But I was like thinking about, does this look stupid? Does this look stupid? And now it's like I don't give the slightest bit of shit, and I feel like it's.
Yeah, I always go off one of the live production philosophies is the audience is ignorant. They're up there, you have to pretend that they don't know anything whatsoever, and you need to tell them what is going on, not just with the song, but with your actions. They need to know when the heavy part's coming in. They need to know when you're stopping and slowing down. They need to know when to rock out. They need to know when to pay close attention. And all of that comes out in your movements, in your mannerisms, and everything on stage.
I agree. I think it's why should they rock out if you can't, or why should they love it if you don't? It's almost like you have to be like exactly what I can't stand. Like if it's like if I'm gonna stand there, everybody else is gonna stand there too. So I'm gonna be moving. That's kind of why I get off the stage and run into the crowd and all that stuff too. Is just like they're a part of it, and I want them to.
It's a good workout too.
It is a really good workout.
Yeah, there's going to the private section of the gym and go, run the treadmill and sing the set, with the headphones on, or whatever, just to kind of get used to doing that with your heart rate up.
I remember
Yeah,
my first tour. It was like a really bad leg day. Like my legs were destroyed for like.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, it was about 4 days into it where my legs got their shit together. But it was like we did a show and then we did another show and then just dead legs for the next 4 days straight.
Yeah, he had a major bang over, and I was like, first time.
Yes.
That was funny.
it is true though. I mean, if I'm watching a show and the band isn't moving around, I'm kind of not into it. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Even bands I like, I get bored. Like I've left some cool bands shows before because I got bored and
Yeah, and now that's not to say like when I first started, even in this band here, I was like, well, I have to be moving all the time. I have to be doing this energy, and I realized that's not the answer for at least not for me. And somebody in a different medium, I don't know if it was a comedian, I forgot if it was a comedian. I just remember hearing it stuck out to me. It was like, basically, I can make you feel something and I don't have to do a bunch of crazy shit to get you to feel something. And so I was like, you know what, there's something to that. And so I mean, I pick my battles basically. I'm like, okay, this is Ghost to you. It's a soft verse. I have a mic stand. I'm standing. I'm not even touching the mic stand. I'm singing this. But then Burn It to the Ground, it calls for a lot of moving around, a lot of going up and down with the song. And so then it changed what I do. And so it just kind of creates more of a dynamic show that way as well.
Mhm.
But yeah, if I was just on stage like what's his face, that kid or from Casey and his brother, I don't know if you ever watched Tim and Eric Awesome show, but the guy's like standing like this with a microphone and he's like, oh, just like he sounds all weird. It's
I
like
remember that stupid show.
it's like a comedy thing because they're like trying to make like emulate like a cable access talent show and it's just really awkward. Yeah, if you stand there like that, you're probably not gonna move any t-shirts live.
You stand all awkwardly. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that too. There's also like a method to it, but
Yeah.
So, the Toxic Hearts EP to me sounded a little bit of a departure from the previous album. What contributed to that progression?
Better equipment. I guess that's the biggest thing. So and that one has more of a story. So the first album we wrote, it was less than a year of us being a band, and it was when we decided, hey, we're gonna continue music. And I said, hey, I have 2 songs, and then Kyle, hey, I'm working on this and this, and Kyle, Chad, and I would just basically we rushed together an album just to have something to build toward, to promote, to sell, to put online. And then, you know, COVID happened and no one was playing shows anywhere. And it was like, okay, we have plenty of time to really kind of hone things in. We got better equipment. We understood how to use our equipment better because we self-recorded as well, all of the album and then most of Toxic Hearts. And so the big change was a lot of Toxic Hearts came from Kaio and I really taking the forefront. Like we'd get skeletons from Chad, but then we would just take these skeletons and we completely reconstruct them in this style, more guitar driven,
like song outlines.
Yeah, and we really liked what we were doing there. And then we took a shot and we worked with a bigger producer. His name was Sahaj Cotton. He did most of Starset stuff. He did some Motley Crue, Five Finger Death Punch, I believe, nothing more. And we did Ghost of You with him. And I was like, wow, like this is a departure from the rest of the songs in this album, or that we've done in the past. We're working with a real producer. We've never done that before. And he taught us, like, I learned more in songwriting in those 4 days of writing that and working on that song than I did in like 4 years. It was just like sipping from a fire hose. And so we took that information and we basically used it toward Toxic Hearts, the title track, and that was the last one we did in-house together without a producer. And so it's a little bit of a hodgepodge in terms of releases, but it was supposed to capture the timeline of, hey, we started doing this in 2020 and we finished it up in 2023. Here it is. All the songs have their own story. It was more of like a fanfare thing for a lot of people, like as we're growing, have grown with us and followed us, and so they wanted to have all those songs we did in the last 3 years in one place. And so we did that, capped it off with Toxic Hearts and called it Toxic Hearts. And now we're actually, I guess I don't know if this is question, but you have a question about future music by any chance?
We didn't,
Do
but
we?
you can definitely answer
Okay,
a question that we
I'll
don't
jump in
have.
there. So we're looking at Toxic Hearts compared to Ghost of You, and we're like, you know what, we really felt stronger about, Ghost of You was like our biggest song we've ever done, and we wanted to work with an outside producer again. So we actually hooked up with a gentleman named Andrew Bayless. He's a producer of the Jelly Roll album that won awards at the VMAs. He was talking about doing like some Nickelback song. He did some work for Bad Omens. Attack. That's another one. And we worked out this deal. Got him at a very generous rate, with using kind of like a barter system with our former bass players employee discount at Apple. So it kind of worked out. But we ended up going there. We wrote and recorded 3 songs in 4 days. And these songs were the best songs we've ever been a part of. I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it was nuts being in, like, working with Sahaj is great. And I think there was more of a learning curve, but we kind of were there now, and we're kind of like, hey, let the producer cook. Let's work with this guy. And yeah, it was like us in a team basically, that came out with these songs, and they were just sick. I'm like, wow, these are amazing. Like
there was a team of like 3 people to pull
plus us
to pull the best out of us.
Yeah,
so.
it was insane. So these songs, and he mentioned one, I don't know why he mentioned it, it's not out yet, Dying to Exist. It's coming out, I promise. But yeah, we have 3 bangers we're gonna probably make an EP with here in the next year or so. And we're just gonna try to push these ones to the moon because we're really excited about them.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it takes a village, right?
Exactly. It's like a village with like gold-plated gates. Working with those guys. Yeah, and like solid gold diamond hammers and nails. Like these guys are insane. But yeah, we're pushing those songs to the moon. We have our hashtag Bayless or Bust.
They took a chance on us, so we're gonna do it, or we're gonna do everything we can do.
Absolutely.
It's definitely something you gotta do. So you did mention Ghost of You, which I love that song, and I love Toxic Hearts on the latest record. Would you say that those 2 songs are a good representation of the band and where you're heading in the direction?
For them, yes and no. So
yeah, the new ones don't sound like that.
I was gonna say, you were just talking about new ones, and I'm like, I wonder if this is gonna entail or be entwined at all or not.
You're gonna get the heavy hitting, you're gonna get the dynamic and poppy vocals, you're gonna get the electronic elements, the driving guitars, but you're gonna get it in just cut all the fat, just all substance, all hook.
Like, yeah, just like all dance the whole time or mosh or whatever.
Yeah, it's that's the best way I can describe it. Ghost of You was kind of like that. It's kind of like, I'd say this is like Ghost of You on steroids, if I had to say so. Yeah, we took some liberties with Toxic Hearts. We did that, self-produced that one. So we had a lot of like, some lengthier instrumental breaks and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we do when we're left to our own devices versus, someone who's works to put out hits left and right. So
they kind of coach you on that one.
When
I don't know, for anybody listening that doesn't know what a producer is, like a guy that records you but also coaches.
Yeah, he's almost like a 5th member of the band.
Yeah, like they join your band for that day.
And
they're like
and his motto is all killer, no filler.
Like, can you guys try something else, or can we let's try this, or let's try this,
Yeah, and of course it takes, mental maturity from the bands that work with. There's a reason why there's not a lot of bands in a position to work with those people, because it can be brutal if you're not ready for it. There's a lot of egos involved with musicians, a lot of like, oh, I just want to play this because I think it's fun to play, or hey, this is my guitar part, although it takes away from the song, you get to play a cool part. And there's none of that here. Like, we're all egos are checked at the door. We're here to write the best possible song.
Be ready to go in there and be told that 95% of your ideas are not going to make the cut.
Yeah, and you
Almost-
need new ideas.
Almost none of them. Like, I think I had 1 or 2 riffs make it.
Yeah, I had no riffs make it. So
You had 1?
Nope.
None?
nope.
Fuck.
I basically was like, hey, I tweaked a couple of things here, and then, hey, what do you guys think if we do this? And everyone was like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, it was pretty much all starting from scratch.
Yeah, like,
none of our demos.
Yeah, we had like a whole like folder full of all these demos, and we like use like, oh, here, we'll use this guitar part, we'll use this progression, we'll use this sample part, and that's about it. We started everything from scratch, and with these other professional songwriters. And that's the other thing too. And maybe this is because it's Nashville and there's a lot of professional songwriters there that are involved in country, but this is my first time I actually worked with country writer as well. And I was never a big fan of country, and I do have a much bigger respect for it now after seeing what he did to these songs, how his influence on the lyrics really helped tell more of a story than I was used to telling. And some of the different hooks and slides, I'm more of a pop vocalist, and so there were some different slides that really work well in rock and that I've never tried before.
I love the slides.
And so I was stepping out of my comfort zone a lot, and it was totally worth it.
The
Nice.
slides, yeah.
Yeah.
I always described it as the way they made him sing. I was like, what did I say about it? It was they made him sing like the guy she told you not to worry about.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
They made him sing like sexier. They're like, you need to do the slide, the cadence,
Yeah.
get sexy with it. I'm like, damn, all right.
Can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to hear
Definitely some
what they
chat
produce.
vocals on it.
Jumping back to the most recent EP that you put
Yeah.
out, what was the hardest thing to get right in the mixing process and the songs on that EP?
That one was honestly, it was all pretty much a process. So we have Chad in our band, our drummer, he's a professional engineer by trade. So for the most part, he's had his own studio. This is all a process for him. So he's really just, he'll record me like, 20 times singing the same part, which is always a struggle for me. But in terms of mixing, I saw his board, and we had like, over 50 tracks going on these with different layers and different items. And I can't speak for him because for him, it's probably just, this is just what I do. But I imagine that was some complication right there. Also, like, there were some parts demo wise, like, so I'm what we would call a ghetto engineer, where I make things work, but I make them work by doing it the wrong way. And then I try to give it to the professional engineer, and he's like, what the hell is this? This weird monstrosity, nothing's labeled. I'm like, oh yeah, that's the thing. It's the thing. You get it. Yeah, just do this. And so if I was speaking for Chad, which I will, I'd probably say the hardest part about the mix for him is just getting all the right stuff for me, and then me listening to him going, hey, where's my automation? It was supposed to, it's supposed to start here and it's supposed to like cut low pass off right here and go. He's like, you never gave that to me. Oh, I guess I left that in my session because he's using Pro Tools, I'm using Logic.
Oh, dude, that's actually
so
that's got to be the hardest part. Is we all use Pro Tools and Logic, and like all sending entire sessions back and forth.
Yeah.
We lose so many parts.
Yeah, and when we're songwriting, we typically, so what we'll do is, since we live in different states, or I guess he's here with me, but we live in different states, so we would, I come up with a skeleton, send them the MP3, okay, and then the Logic session, and then Chad will open it in Pro Tools, move everything in, add to it, button it up, send it back. I take his MP3, add to it, and we, through this online cloud drive, we would make the song, and then when I was ready to record, I'd fly in for, a weekend of photo shoots, doing a video for a different song, recording that one, playing a show, and then we get it done. But yeah, that's it. When it works, it's beautiful. But man, does it take some messing around to kind of get everything to work, especially on Chad's end. So we're really lucky to have Chad in our band as a very patient producer. And yeah, it was kind of nice this most recent round of songwriting where we didn't have to worry about any of the mixing, editing, or anything like that. It was just like boom, done, all in a week. So it was out of our hands, but it was more expensive.
Easier on Chad for sure.
Yeah,
I was also gonna say probably me made it hard for the recording process
yeah.
because I'm the critic, as they say.
The fine-tooth
critic.
comb, that's the nice way of putting it.
Yeah, I'd be like, I remember there's a time I think with Toxic Hearts where it was like, okay, I think it's good to go, and I'm like, are you serious? There's this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and then
And he'll jump between like being super nice about it, like, oh yeah, I don't think it's there, man. Okay, well, what's wrong with it? Oh, well, he'll like be kind of meek about it, and then the opposite. Sometimes it's like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard in my entire life, and your family should die because you wrote that song. Like, there's like no in between with this guy.
I'm struggling with finding the middle ground because they'll be like, okay, quit beating around the bush, and then I'll be like, okay, it fucking sucks.
The worst.
Get it together.
You were trying to be nice, and then nice wasn't doing it, so you had to get not as nice.
We call it choosing violence.
Yeah, Devon chose violence again.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm not even violent. I just,
his words are violent.
yeah, yeah. I just, I get a little bit. Well, there was one time, actually, I feel like there's been a couple times now where I've like sent something over text and I had to get a phone call about it. Like,
Yeah,
dude, are you leaving the band?
Oh.
No.
like, dude, what's wrong with you? He's like, what? I was just writing. I'm like, no, do you sound like you're extremely upset? No, I'm fine. Like,
No,
just,
great.
it just came off that way in text.
Yeah,
like
text
the-
message does that sometimes.
Yeah,
especially him, like girls calling him, you mad at me? His work calls him. So, are you putting your resignation in, or what are you doing here?
So that's your 2 weeks then?
Yeah.
No,
So-
I just said we should work on this.
So
But-
I'm gonna change it over to like more performance wise.
Okay.
Do you as a band have any rituals or things you do prior to going on stage?
Yes.
Copious amounts of alcohol. No,
No.
no.
I'm
Actually, that's one of the rituals is staying sober.
Yeah, there's no drinks. For me, there's no drinks until after the last show, the last tour.
Yeah.
'Cause-
No. weed
Because
or
if I have
anything.
to do it the next day, or I'm working while touring, so like there's no break for me. So I'm on the road working remote. So is the rest of the band for the most part.
Mhm.
So we're working our day jobs while driving, and then we do the show. But as far as pre-show rituals, my favorite foods, I call it the cover band special because that's when this originated. I'll find some sort of wings and some sort of mozzarella sticks, and I'll eat said combination if
Yeah.
I can. So there's that. I also, and this isn't like a ritual, it's just what happens. I call it the phantom sickness, where I'm not sick, but my brain is telling me I'm sick, and my voice is, oh, your voice is going out. Oh,
You haven't done that since Nashville, though.
I just did it last week.
You did?
Yeah.
Were you-
Yeah, and so like that, so I'll just be crushing cough drops and tea left and right, and like nervously, like, oh god, my voice is gonna blow. Oh my gosh, and like I'll go through this panic in my head, and then then I'll do everything on stage and I'm good to go. So those are kind of my two. Obviously, doing your stretches, try to get a set of just 30 push-ups if you can in, just so I don't look like anemic on stage or anything like that. I look like I'm kind of full, I guess. I don't know, because I've seen some rough pictures like, oh man, I look like I'm starving. I'm like, oh no, you just don't have any blood flow going to your body right now, so figure it out. And so there's that. Warming up the vocals too, that's another big one. Like I'll try to duck out and just kind of get some vocal warm-ups in, just projection practicing, just trying to test my range just to try to see if there's anything there. If there's a scratch here that I need to watch out for. If there's a scratch, I can't attack it. I have to kind of like warm into it, or just hit a falsetto instead. So just kind of being aware of what's happening with my voice, because it's unfortunately it's not an instrument. I mean, it is,
Right.
but it's not something that's just indestructible. It's very, very fragile, and so you kind of got to work with that, especially if you're doing it night after night. yeah, the other thing I was gonna say post show is like I will usually with a phantom sickness, I'll take some sort of Benadryl or something to go to bed immediately. Without, as soon as we hit the hotel, I'm in bed, I'm sleeping, I'm ready to go because I'm trying to get as much sleep as possible so I can function my day job and play a show that day.
Mhm.
So it's a lot of work, but man, that's why when the last show of the tour, I'm like, cool, I can have a drink, I can relax. I'm gonna just unwind. It's versus just water, water, water,
Mhm.
energy, energy, energy.
Yeah, that's kind of the same thing. Actually, I agree with all of that, but mine is just water and leg stretches for me. That's way shorter than Jesse's.
Yeah, I guess stretches in general. I do a little bit of yoga beforehand too. Just make sure I can still touch my toes. A little downward dog action, whatever they call this, rising sun or whatever it's called. I'll do a little bit of that and just because I try to avoid as much bang over as possible.
He does it all on the actual like the floor too, like right in front of the stage while the previous band is playing.
That's not true.
That's what he does, yeah.
Untrue.
But no, sobriety is a huge one. I remember when we went live, that's what we talk about too. It's like it's kind of another day at the office for us, even though it's a passion. It's very much staying professional
Yeah.
and
that's because like your job when you're doing this isn't just okay, I'm gonna show up and I'm gonna play for my 45-minute set or whatever. It's I'm going to set up all this merch, I'm going to interact with everybody there, I'm gonna play the show, which is the small part, and then I need to follow with everybody, funnel people to the merch table, do my rounds, make sure we get paid, load everything out. Like there's a lot of work to do. You can't just be partying, otherwise you're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So it's
you have to make sure to make it a point to get to know every single person in the room.
yeah.
And sometimes that involves having a drink to kind of ease it up, but just because I don't know, because it's the environment, I guess.
I just bring the water and pretend
Yeah.
to drink.
I'll get something really light, like a
Seltzer or something.
like a seltzer or
Yeah.
something. I stay away from the hard liquor because I don't want to feel anything until.
Yeah. Get
You'll
yourself
have
a White Claw.
Yeah.
Yep. You'll see me with a White Claw for sure. Or something really fruity but light on the alcohol.
Yeah.
What have been some of your favorite rooms or venues to play?
Oh man.
Rock for Vets.
Yeah, Rock for Vets it's a festival we do. It's a nonprofit. Money goes toward different veteran fundraisers. It's a great stage. It's always a pop-up stage in a different place. It's usually in Michigan. Actually, it's always in Michigan, but we did that twice. We really liked it. Get a chance to play with some big band. We played with Drowning Pool and Smile Empty Soul last year. Which is funny because Smile Empty Soul actually big timed us at the show. We were like playing ahead of them or something like that, and they wanted that slot, and so we made a deal for them to take the slot because of the bigger band. But the whole show ended up getting delayed an hour because there was a power issue, so we get to play the same time anyway, and play them. It's like great, and I got more money on the deal. Sweet.
Yeah.
So, but like we played with Nonpoint last year as well. Saliva. It's a really cool place, and the people in Michigan that go to the show, they remember you. And it's like going there. Like this year we played. People come up to me, hey, we took a picture last year. Here it is on my phone. I'm like, holy shit, you still have that? That's crazy. And it was just really cool. A really good vibe. Everyone's super supportive. There's just that particular event. It's hard to top a place that's more hungry for music in my experience than that venue, and then that in that festival. Yeah. In terms of stages, I think my favorite stage I've ever played on is First Avenue Main Room. That's the stage that Prince made famous and everything like that. I got an opportunity to play there. They accidentally let a local rock band or rock bill play that night. I think that we promised like, yeah, we'll bring like 1,500 people. We brought like 900, and they were pissed and never again. But we got our one time to do it, and it was amazing. And Fortunately, I did not get my name written on a star outside of it, but you know, whatever.
Maybe
It
they'll
was
change
a,
their mind someday.
yeah,
Let you
it's
play again.
hopefully,
But
hopefully.
enough angry emails.
Yeah. But yeah, that stage was absolutely beautiful. The people working the crew, everybody there. Because I played, they have an adjacent stage, like in a different room, which will allow local bands play at. I felt like, you know, I've always kind of got the bums rush there. The sound guys are kind of like, I have no time for this band. And playing in the First Avenue main room, the crew was super supportive of everything, really helped, really had great attitudes and everything. I was like, wow, this like made a difference.
I noticed when you play big shows, they don't big time you.
Yeah.
The opposite. It's like they're professionals. Like you're gonna playing in big shows with bigger bands and stuff like that. It's like they actually do make time for you. And like changeover is one thing. Yeah, they're gonna tell you play your 30 minutes and then fuck yourself. But it's still gonna be. I'm gonna make you sound damn good, and you're gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's still really good. I feel like you only get big time at like local stages, and the guys know me. They know that I have this righteous fury vendetta against sound guys. I hate sound guys that aren't real sound guys, that are guys with just a random guy with a mixer. I feel like you're hurting local bands more than you're helping them. Like you should not be a sound guy unless you know how to make them sound good, because I've seen so many bands, ourselves included, sound awful, even though they're playing perfect. Like everything is perfectly in line. Like everything, like including, I can't think of any bands right now because I've seen it just happen to everybody, but I've heard some really good bands just sound awful.
Oh yeah.
And it's only because there's a guy there that should not be a sound guy. That's a sound guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm brutal with them. I don't.
Well,
I complain a lot on the road.
I'm
that guy's
more sympathetic. So I'm like, at the end of the day, they're probably making, you know, $100 for the night, maybe 150 if they're lucky. So it's like, yeah, you get what you pay for the venue. Like they're basically they're there from 5 to bar close and make $100. Like, yeah, if they comes with the territory, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel like there should be a way to get them more money.
Yeah.
And then
so I fault them less, and I fault to pay more.
Yeah, because because it defaults back to that. Because what if they're paying these? Because I've seen some of these places like offer $10 an hour, and it's like, dude, you're not gonna have a very good sound in your venue if you're gonna pay like an asshole. Like
yeah,
you need
like,
to.
that's what they pay us if we're lucky, and
Yeah.
that's a passion project for us. Not that
Yeah.
what
So-
pays the bills.
So like, yeah, you word it right. I totally agree that it's like some people don't care. Yeah, those are the ones that I can't stand, that just don't give a shit. But
Yeah.
then sometimes it is because they're underpaid or undergeared. So it's just like there should be. I wish just across the board that, pun intended, that sound guys were either more
Incentivized to care more.
incentivized
Yeah.
to care more. Yep.
Yeah.
I
What if-
want to circle back quick. You were
Yeah,
talking about Rock for Vets. I've never actually heard of that, which is weird because my husband and I, we are part of like a classic car community. And I used to do pinup stuff all the time, and we did a lot of things for vets and everything. And I still send Christmas cards every year to a veteran's home, and I sign them and everything. But I've never heard of Rock for Vets, and it's not that far from me since I'm in Wisconsin. So I mean,
Mhm.
I can't believe I haven't heard of that, but I'm gonna have to look
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, it's new. It's kind of takes place in the mid central region of the Lower Peninsula of Michigan. It's a different venue every year. It's and they're starting out there. I think once they find a place they really like, they'll probably just keep using it, I imagine. But yeah, they've done it 2 years, 3 years now, I think, because they did it in 2021, and then we played in 2022, and we liked it. We came back for 2023. But it's
The people there are phenomenal.
yeah, they're
Whoever threw it
Chris
together.
and his crew. Yeah, they're great guys and gals. And yeah, they really put together a good show, and the people there are just hungry for music, and they love it and they absorb it. They make these programs too of all the bands with like their big profile picture in it, and they run around and have you sign it. And so they have these programs and you sign it and it's just, they get to take that home with them and they remember you and they come back and they, hey, sign it this year. This is the new photo and everything like that. Yeah, cool. Absolutely. So it's really touching the fact that they remember you like that. And yeah, it's just very, very cool.
Yeah. I just was curious because I'm anything to give back to the vets. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had, for some reason, I had this idea that I was going to be a Marine in high school. And then it was before they really dropped standards. And so they're like, you have insomnia and asthma? No, you can't join. So I got to stay home while my friends went to the National Guard thinking, yeah, it's pretty safe. And then they pushed them to Iraq and Afghanistan. So like two of my best friends, I talk to every day while they're at war, basically telling me this crazy stuff that's happening. And, I'm just hoping that they get back okay. And luckily they both did, two of my best friends. And so yeah, helping veterans is super important to me, especially, I have vets in my family, have vets as friends. And so I always do what I can to give back as well. So yeah, absolutely.
I feel that same way too, especially with it being in my family too. And my job is like that too, where they incentivize, they have like stickers everywhere and posters and stuff supporting causes with veterans, like Gary Sinise Foundation is one of them. We just did a big run for. But anyway, back to band related. Yeah, I'm glad we were able to do something. The music was something relevant to that, where like something for veterans and music came together, and they nailed it with doing that festival, and it was totally for a good cause. I think like a mass amount of it, if not all of it, was donated, right? Something like that, something awesome. So it was really cool, and everything sounded good for it to be just good across the board. It was awesome.
Yeah, it's good to hear.
Yeah.
What have been some of your favorite cities to play?
Anything in Ohio or Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan's been great, all over. I have a soft spot for Escanaba, Michigan, which is a little tiny town in the Northern Peninsula or the Upper Peninsula. It's where we shot the music video for Ghost of You. And doing so, we had a scout go out and find locations, people to help, and the whole entire town was super excited about this band that was coming to shoot this video. So we had actors volunteer, we had locations offered up, and then when we came back, we're like, let's play a show up here. We'll test it out since, it's pretty far, but we'll do an acoustic show. And we had this wine place out there that has the most amazing wine. It's called Lee's Winery. Packed full house just on a Sunday afternoon, us playing acoustically. It was full house. Like, whoa, we got to try this again. And then we found South City Pub over there. Great owners, awesome people. And we started packing that place too. They started bringing all these people that are so excited to see us there. And I remember going through my the Failsafe's Facebook and like seeing people's profile picture posing with me. I'm like, what? Who is this dude? This is awesome. But yeah, that place has a special place in my heart. Aside from that, trying to think of another place that really sticks out as holy crap, this was amazing.
Marietta, Ohio.
That was an interesting spot. It's on the border of Kentucky. We showed up, we played a show there on St. Patty's Day. People really didn't know who the heck we were. We were kind of slid on the bill. People loved it, supported us. It was a packed house. It was a great night. Great town. And people were, you'd be at the gas station like, hey, you played there. It was great. I'm like, thanks. Like, so that was really cool. And then, there's something to be said for my hometown, which is, Minneapolis. When you play a good show in Minneapolis, it as in by good, like there's actually a crowd rocking out, having fun. We usually call it Minneapathy because everyone's just kind of sitting there with the gatekeeper, arms crossed, like.
The last one was so good. Even Ghost of You had mosh
Yeah, last
pit.
time people were
It's
going
like,
nuts the
what?
whole time. So
Yeah.
that was special to, especially now that I don't live there. It's like every time I play a big show there, cool, I'm gonna see all my friends I haven't seen in months, or my family, and things like that. So that's always special to me.
So you guys got to perform in Rome?
Oh yeah. Okay, so I got myself onto a night tour of the Colosseum, and I got to stand where the person would stand when he was talking in the Colosseum. There was no microphones back then, but he could be heard throughout the entire place because of the way the acoustics of the place was built. And I did a TikTok in front of 5 people. But my claim to fame is the only people who have performed there are me and Paul McCartney.
There you go. There you go.
But I'm sure people paid to see him, and there's probably more.
Maybe. You never know. It could have been a free show.
Yeah, true.
But you
yeah,
went, you went to Rome, so that's more than I've gone. I've never gone anywhere besides somewhere in the United States, and one time in Canada.
Yeah, Kyle and I went to Rome because I got married in Italy.
Ah.
Yeah, it was I had to save up a lot of money to do it. But it was like one of those situations where, hey, we're not going to have 200 people at the wedding, and relatives we might see once in our lives. They'll give us our blender or whatever. We're like, look, we don't want anything from anybody. We're just going to do this destination trip. If you guys, whoever wants to come, can come. And we have 8 people, and so we all pitched in on this trip we went to Rome, the Amalfi Coast, had the ceremony at Lake Como, and then took a train up to Switzerland, rented a car, went through Liechtenstein, Austria, Germany, and then back home. Yeah.
That was I felt bad for not only personal bank account but band bank account, because that happened.
Yeah.
That we had to you did your wedding, and that was at the same time that we did the big recording endeavor.
Yeah, I was broke.
And we got robbed that same time.
Yeah, that was a lot of
There was so much money.
financial calamities in the fall here.
I think it brought the Failsafe to near zero, but people came together and we started Indiegogo, and we raised a few $1,000s to get that equipment back, and like people really came in clutch. That was amazing.
Yeah, I remember doing a video too. I was like, hey guys, Kyle's in the background, where I'm like, yeah, we're playing at this old looking venue tonight. I don't know about this place. It's kind of weird. It's old. I think people died here, and then slowly pan to the Coliseum in the background. But he's sitting in the back. Kyle's just shaking his head, like, yeah, man, this place. It was so funny.
Yeah, I saw that video on Instagram, I believe.
Oh, that was one of my favorites. My favorite was Kyle. Just I'm talking. He's just in the back, just shaking his head like this place sucks. But it was actually the opposite.
It was awesome. It didn't suck.
It was not mid.
Yeah, it was fun.
Can you guys share any standout moments from on stage with us while you were performing?
Yeah, I can do one. This always comes to my head here. This is before you're in the band.
Oh,
sorry. This is our last tour before him. We're playing the show in Iowa City, opening for Real Friends. So it's a packed house. It's a Wednesday, a packed house. We're excited. And this place made the mistake of having exposed rafters that I could reach. And so during the one of the last songs, whatever, I swung upside down from the rafters with the mic, everything in my hand, and I flipped down. Or no, I didn't have the mic. I did it by myself, and then flipped down, landed on my feet, grabbed the mic, and I started the song. It was the timing couldn't have been more perfect, and I was just yeah, I totally nailed that. And you see in the video, there's a TikTok or reel of it somewhere, me doing it, but the second it hit the ground, I was just yeah, nailed it. I was so happy. Yeah, that was amazing, because there was a lot that could have went wrong. That was a bit of a drop. I was upside down, if I landed that fine, what's the odds of me being able to grab the mic and start the song in time? So everything kind of worked out.
It all came together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Stand-up moments?
Yeah, stand up moment on stage.
Oh God. Actually, I know which one. When there's like probably Rocket Bets also.
Okay. Gosh, we really like that rock bands.
I love that show. That was the best. That was so cool. Especially when like the crowd in front was like all about it. And there was one person down there that had like their recording and stuff. And I thought it was super cool. I went down and I asked if I could take it, and then I took it, and then we shot videos or shot a video with their phone while we were on stage, and then I handed it back, and she was just so excited. And I was like, that was cool. That was sweet. I hope she posts that video.
Yeah, and also just moments in general. Might be a good opportunity. So if you see the Toxic Heart music video, we made that as an homage to the people who have supported the band, and so we capture all. It's the whole theme of it is like a photo album, or we have Polaroids all over the place, and like they'll zoom in and it'll play like a clip of us doing we're doing a festival, or we're doing a house show, or or we're with fans, or with the doing something in the studio. So it's basically like making a video of our journey in the last 3 years, with the fans and people who have been there. So like there's fans or people that, well, hey, I'm in the video. There's a lot of that going on. And there's so much in that video, like you'll have to watch them numerous times to kind of catch everything. Like, oh, cool. And like I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was in there. Like my dog made it in there somehow. Like, I don't know. And it was just kind of like a cool like retelling of the last couple of years and our journey. We're using footage from all these shows over the last couple of years. And
I think it was just this year.
no, we got some old stuff in there too.
This
Yeah.
what?
Yeah. So
Well,
yeah.
I'm the bass player in all of them.
Yeah, but there's like close-ups of Chad or stuff like that, or pictures of me and before you showed up.
Oh, very rude.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of a cool experience. Just kind of, it's basically like a living memory or scrapbook of the last couple of years being on the road, writing music, and playing shows.
Yeah.
Okay, what about like, how about aside from that music video, any other standout moments, like maybe while you were traveling, like seeing some crazy shit while driving, or
Oh geez, okay. Okay, we'll get into that really quick. So our first tour, we went from South Carolina up to like Wisconsin, and then all the way down to Texas, and then to the Midwest. I called 911 4 times on that tour for 4 different reasons. The first one, there was an accident like in front of me. There was like some sort of accident that I had to like get out and direct traffic and help out and everything like that. The second time I called 911, I was in Oklahoma City. I watched a dude in a motorcycle, he was speeding, and this guy was trying to pull out, and just bam, and the dude went flying. His shoes went even further, and I ran out to respond to it, and he wasn't breathing. And I had to call 911, and he let him know, hey, he's not breathing, get here. And then he started snoring. I'm like, oh, thank God he's alive. And he made it. He went through I kind of followed it. I look it up and everything. He went through a lengthy recovery. But I think he's able to walk, he's able to do everything. But I watched this dude just get smoked by this truck. And the dude in the truck was crying and freaking out because he didn't know what's happening. Like, that's a 30-mile-an-hour zone. This guy's going like 70. And then the guy's friend, who's on a motorcycle right behind him, he's freaking out. So I'm trying to calm him down. He's crying. This guy's crying. Then the cops talk to him. The cops talk to me. It was wild. Just watching someone like, almost die right in front of you like that, and having to be there. And then, the third time I had to call 911, we were tailgating outside a show, waiting to load in and eating some nice Texas barbecue. And there was a gunfight that broke out. And the bullets, we thought it was fireworks, and we saw bullets like careening off the pavement, like going toward us. We're like, oh shit, like hid behind the trailer. And there was a car like speeding out in reverse and getting away. So that was wild. And then the last one, maybe I didn't have to call 911, but I did because I'm deathly afraid of snakes. I had to help a lady get a snake out of her car.
You called 911 for that?
Yes. And then they told me to F off. And so then I had to do it.
Oh,
Yeah, so
You gotta call
I was
animal
at-
control.
Yeah, so we played this show in Fort Worth somewhere, and we're actually opening for a Pound of Burning Body, and we ordered Chinese. And this is the second time we ordered Chinese on this tour where they gave us no utensils. And so it's like, past 9 or whatever. I'm trying to find a place that's open that has plastic utensils. I'm running a mile down the road. Finally, I found CVS, and no one's helping me. There's like no one there. The cashier's gone. And then I look, and she's in the parking lot. And this old lady, and they're trying to figure this thing out. Like, oh, there's a snake in her car. And I'm like, oh shit. Hey, can you get the snake? Because they wanted me to help. I'm like, I hate snakes. And they're like,
why have you never told me this?
They're like, they basically told me to just F off, basically, and hung up. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's me. And so they had this grabber thing that you could buy at CVS. So I just grabbed one, brought it outside, and I was fighting this with a snake that was like going like under the car seats or the hood part or whatever, or not the hood, the undercarriage of the car, like where the car seats would be. And it was like snapping. I'm just losing my mind because I have this fear of snakes. I finally got hold of it. I got it out. It's like, it was all pissed. I take the whole stick and I just launch the whole thing into this field next to CVS. I'm like, I'm not paying for that. And I'm not paying for these. And I just took the silverware and left. But yeah, that
If they
was.
want their grabber, they can go
you
get
did that
it.
all for silverware?
Yeah, I'm not touching. I'm not going that way. The
Could have
grabber
been
thing got
poisonous.
it was because I hate snakes so much. I know a lot about them. It was a hognose, Eastern hognose, or I just know a lot about them till I can avoid them or know what's venomous and what's not.
I think you're obsessed.
Yeah.
He does have a snake obsession.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with hating him, I guess. I don't know. I just like stay away from him. But yeah, I was like, yeah, that it could have been, a rattler or a cottonmouth or something like that, something dangerous. But yeah,
They're all dangerous.
it was a hognose is what they call a drama noodle. They throw fits and they act like assholes, and that one was no exception. And so I handled it accordingly by throwing it in the field.
Yeah. People actually mistake hognoses for like a venomous snake sometimes.
Well, yeah, it's because they act the fool. They crunch down and make their head look triangular, and
Yep.
they have kind of a venomous body. I guess kind of looks like a viper to an extent, but you have to really kind of look at it. But no, if it looks like a poison snake, but not quite, like, yeah, it's probably a hognose.
Funny story about snakes. I was at the Tampa Lowry Zoo years ago with my wife, and we're just walking on a path, and then all of a sudden, like, I must have not been paying attention. Everybody stops walking, and my wife was like, "Babe, look out!" And I stepped on a snake, and it curled around my foot. I straight yeeted that thing straight into the giraffes.
Oh my
Like,
god!
I kicked my foot so hard that snake went flying.
Oh, did it bite you?
No.
Oh, thank
But
God. Okay.
I sure as heck launched it.
Oh,
You're gonna give Jesse nightmares. You better.
Yeah, he's like terrified here.
oh my god! Yeah, there was a bush. There was a snake in a bush outside my house. I stopped cutting that bush for the entire year, and I still haven't cut it. The neighbor had to cut it. He's like, "Hey, thanks for letting me borrow your hedge clippers. You mind if I get that bush?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's all you. I gave that to the snake." Like, that thing's done.
You're funny because it's like my husband and I go like hiking all the time, and I'll be like, "Oh, look at that little garter snake. He's so cute."
Oh man, I'd be like, it's scary. Get it away from me.
I text him pictures of snakes every chance I get.
Oh,
It's not.
are you
it's not very
terrified of
nice.
spiders too?
No, spiders are cool. Like I had because they eat mosquitoes or small bugs that I don't have time for.
Oh, I have bad news. I found one in the house the other day and I couldn't kill it. Or
a spider?
I couldn't get it outside, so I just had to kill it.
Man, yeah. Every time I find a spider, I like find a way to put on like an envelope and like escort it outside.
Yeah, I kind of do the
Spider
same
bro.
thing.
Yeah,
do the
This
same
one was
thing.
being- It was too aggressive. He had to die.
Oh, sad.
Yeah, he did
When
not want.
When I lived in Wilmington, we had a golden orb spider on our front porch, and those things are pretty big.
Yeah.
We had no mosquitoes for weeks until it decided to pack up and move.
Oh,
Like,
no.
dang, where'd it go?
Those are so harmless, though, right? I believe.
Yeah, they're
just
harmless.
scary.
Yeah, they just look crazy.
Yeah.
We named her Charlize, and she was with us for about 2.5 weeks until she moved. So
She moved. She had her babies and moved.
Oh, whatever.
Oh,
Bitch-a-rooney.
Yeah, I remember. What is my train of thought? I had a train of thought.
was
Oh
about
no,
snake.
it's about not about snakes. It's about spiders. I just see all the videos all the time that people are posting with the little jumping spiders, and they're just so freaking cute.
They
I
are
can't
cute.
help it. I just
Yeah,
can't
I don't
help
have a
it.
problem with spiders.
But
Like,
they
I
only
mean,
live like 2 years, so
I don't want to like wake up in the middle of the night with like a spider bite or something. That sucks when that happens. Like,
Did you
camping
know
or
the
something
average
like that.
person eats 700 spiders a year?
I heard something about that.
bugs. I
Didn't know
think
if
it's
that's
just
just
bugs.
media propaganda or what.
I don't
It's
know. But as long as the spiders leave me alone, I leave them alone.
Yeah, they're spider bros.
As long as the spiders get eaten by me, I leave them alone.
Jesus.
So, as a band, have you ever been heckled while performing or in between songs?
Have we?
There's always like, not always, but there's occasionally the Freebird guy.
Of course.
And I'm
Of
like,
course.
every time I'm like, okay, this next song is called Freebird, and I'll just play whatever's next in the set. That happens less in original music and more of a cover band thing, I've noticed.
Mm-hmm.
It brings out a different crowd, drinking heavier,
I think that's
longer, acting the fool.
yeah. I think that's like the worst, probably the most annoying thing you could possibly hear.
It's Freebird.
Yeah,
I don't care. I'm like, yeah, this next song is called Freebird, and then we play Toxic Hearts.
I just sandbag every time I hear it, like just no reaction because like that's now it's funny for me and like because I was annoyed by it and now I'm having a more positive attitude about it and now I just ignore them so hard and then I look over at them and realize and then look at them as they realize they got ignored and it's like it's just like they yell Freebird and then stand there awkwardly.
See, I would just use it to get myself over. I'd be like, oh, we got a request. Okay, we got you. We'll play that. We'll play your song, and we'll just play the next song. So then people think that, oh, this guy knows their music and he's requesting songs, and I'm listening to him.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So what's your go-to food on the road?
On the
minus your
road,
ritualistic food.
just minus that.
Yeah.
I think we know everybody's. We could probably answer for everybody.
I mean, there's pizza. We like.
Kyle's is donuts.
Oh yeah, the donut. Oh, the snacks. Yeah.
Yeah, donuts is Kyle. And then
Chad's got the combos, which is my doing, unfortunately, because that was my old tradition. I would always get the combos.
combos and cheesecake.
Yeah, I would get. It depends on the day, but usually, if I'm worried about my voice, I'm being superstitious, I need to get a snack. I'll grab like a thing of potato chips because Dave Grohl told me that was a good idea to do before you sing a long time ago because it coats your throat.
He also said it's a good idea to record everything on tape.
Yeah, so maybe he's full. Maybe it's just cap. I don't know, but yeah, that's just something I've done from time to time. But yeah, that's usually what I get. And then
What do I get?
I don't know. What's your go-to, man?
I'm weird.
Yeah, he's the wild card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go in there one day and just get like Gardettos or it's usually Gardettos or beef jerky or something. Or
Oh yeah, on the road for tour in the morning, I'd always get those Meta RX bars or whatever they're called. They're like
Yeah, you get
protein
those.
bars. They're
Mhm.
cookie flavored. Yeah, those because they're 400 calories and like 30 grams of protein. I'm like, yeah, this is breakfast.
What's
I
our
have
go-to?
I have a
fast food?
protein bar every morning, so that's my breakfast.
Okay.
I always just have a cup of oats and 2 cups of protein, just blend it together, suck it down. But yeah, our fast food or go to, we don't really have one. I'd say we like Asian, I guess. We try to lean toward Asian if we can. Whether it's Korean, Chinese, Vietnamese, something along those lines, sushi.
Yes.
We did have this running joke with Pizza Hut because I like pizza a lot as well, and I didn't want people to know like it was just me, and so I started starting this propaganda campaign that Kyle really wanted Pizza Hut, and so I was like, hey Kyle, look, it's Pizza Hut again. Did you want to go there still? And then like I said it enough that he believed it, I think. And so then it was his thing, not mine. And then we would make TikTok videos about pizza. Like, oh, look at that! It's a pizza! No way! And
Yeah.
then we made a shirt that it says the Failsafe, but it has like the Pizza Hut logo and it says no one outfails the safe.
Yep. Now we have
Yeah.
got Pizza Hut shirts.
So we got pizza on the brain
Yep.
as well.
Yep. Pizza.
Absolutely.
I think I have so many videos I gotta compile together, and where it's like, oh shit, Pizza Hut, and then just like driving by a Pizza Hut. I don't know why it's kind of a running.
Yeah, that's the joke.
It's
Hey,
like-
Kyle, there's a Pizza Hut for you.
Yeah, I just have outrageous reactions. Oh fuck, Pizza
Yeah.
Hut.
I just said it enough that it became the thing.
An inside meme, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we know that you're all talented musicians and everything, but do you have any other hidden talents or any hidden talents that you'd like to share with the world?
Jesse's a troll. He's really good at trolling.
I have
Or hobbies. I mean, we can go with hobbies too.
hobbies. I mean, I'm
He likes to play his baby games.
no, I got this. I got a Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch. I got those for the car ride. No, but what I would say in general, as far as, and this is maybe this, I don't want to sound a certain way of saying this, but to me, as a guy who's trying to do this professionally, it's more important to have what I would refer to as winners in the band versus like super talented musicians, because I have I feel like people in this band, if they weren't doing music, they would be doing something else just as hard and being just as successful. And I think you need to have that, because like you can be the best musician in the world, but you can also be a train wreck at the same time.
Yeah.
And sometimes the best musicians are train wrecks, but it doesn't really work like that when there's not, no one's backing you with money, or, doing all the heavy lifting for you, or you're born in an era where, anybody with a cell phone can become a star. There's no gatekeepers anymore. So or as many. So I kind of look for that overall success. Like, oh, this guy's smart. He can do this. Like Kyle, for example, he's a web designer. This guy's a graphic designer. Chad, he does a lot of pool. He's an ex-professional wrestler as well. He had a championship that he had to vacate. Me, I like my sports. I do a lot of sports. I learned how to train Shibas, kind of for the most part. I've had Shibas for a while now, and I have two of them right now, and they're hard dogs to get to love you, and I found out how to do that somehow.
I'm actually glad you mentioned that one thing, because I don't feel like I'm that talented. I feel like I make up for it with, I think, vision and drive,
Yeah.
and like I feel like we're just really more motivated than we are talented.
Yeah, well, also like if you ever if you ever been in a band with a guy who's really his focus is I play bass and I'm the best at the bass, that's the worst guy to be in a band with. I mean, unless you want to do like a fusion jazz or a prog rock project.
Yeah.
Like when you're trying to do like a mainline rock band, like that guy wants to do bass solos, take it for a walk. He's got his full stack Ampeg with the little tiny wheels, trying to get it through the small club door because we're not big enough to play on these huge stages all the time. And his influences are Dream Theater, Rush, Primus, and you're like, well, this doesn't really fit here. And I've been in bands with those guys that are, statues on stage, but they're like, and it's just like, yeah, I'd rather have the dude who understands music, who understands I can pick up a guitar, I can pick up a bass, I can pick up a keyboard, I can rock either of those equally well, and have that dude do that plus graphic designing plus get in front of the crowd. And there's so much more to it than the instrument. And so that's my TED Talks on bass players or instrument players in general.
Yep, it's funny you mentioned the bass player. So I as soon as you start talking about this, I messaged Jess on the side. We interviewed a band from all places from Russia on Sunday, and the lead singer was talking about how they had a bass player who just kind of was in their own zone during a show. And what'd she say? She was after the show, she was like kind of like, what the hell are you doing? And they kicked him out like right after the show. Like, no,
I
you're
think
done.
so. I think that's what they
Like,
were
you're
saying.
done. I was
Yeah.
like, that's great.
The bass
That's
player.
brilliant.
The bass
The
player.
bass player.
Yes. In Russia, she says bass.
Yeah, that's just what it is though. It's like they're great dudes outside. Like I hang out with them, outside of I wouldn't just there's the type of musician that can go, hey, what do you want to do? Hey, let's get together and just jam, sit in a room with no agenda, just play, and eventually you'll be playing together. But when you're trying to swing for the fences, you're trying to do it on a professional level and compete nationally. It's like you gotta write songs that people they have the potential to reach as many people as possible, and which means you need to not be thinking about getting yourself over as a vocalist singing the Star Spangled Banner, or Stevie Ray Vaughan guitar solos left and right, or drum solos, or taking the bass for a walk or whatever. You have to focus, put all that crap aside, and just focus on I'm writing the best possible song. And you want to be in a group with those people. Otherwise, if you're trying to do it professionally, you're going to have a bad time. And I've been there. It sucks.
It does suck. It's hard. Also, I noticed this learning how to record it and then record it yourself, so then you can hear everything, because you have to make sure every single part of the song is intentional. And it took me a long time. Like every little kick, every kick, every tom, every bass line, like in rock music, there's no room for error. I mean, it's not like it's like rock music's hard because everything has to be played so perfectly and so synced up, and everything is so intentional that it's difficult unless you get on a laptop and record your stuff yourself well enough to hear everything and pick out has to go through a fine-tooth comb in order to because it sounds like a bunch of noise live if you don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what you're going for, great, but that's not exactly what sells a lot of records, so that's not what we're going for.
Yeah.
Straight up.
So the last question
Yeah.
I got for you. This
Okay.
is different, right? If you had to describe your band as a breakfast cereal, which one would you choose?
Golden Grams.
Oh, dude, I was gonna say Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Yeah, it basically it's square, has some razzle dazzle. It's like, okay, you're getting a standard square, but there's razzle dazzle within that square,
And there's a few ridges.
Yeah,
but we're still sweet.
Yeah, that's such a Golden Grams, Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
If Golden Grams and Cinnamon Toast Crunch had a baby.
Yeah, if you were gonna say Sugar Crisp, I would have gotten kind of pissed.
Yeah,
I hate Sugar Crisp, man.
What about Sugar Smacks?
They're in with the dumb frog. Yeah, that's what they're like the same thing. Like, what is this like pretzels tasting ass cereal, man? Like, what is
Dude,
this?
I love Smacks.
What?
Yeah.
What are they called? Are they Honey Smacks?
Are they still around?
I think
hope
so.
I know you can get them at
Chris
Walmart.
is gonna look it up. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, speaking of cereal, pro tip: the day after Halloween, go to the grocery store and get clearance Count Chocula and Boo Berry and Frankenberry,
Yes.
Dude,
because they jack up the price on that until the
I
day after.
remember you didn't have Boo Berry for more than a couple days, and then you forgot about it. You're like, "Where's all my Count Chocula?"
I actually I really miss Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Golden Grams, but I can't eat it because there's gluten in it.
Oh no!
Oh fuck!
I
Okay,
Is there
know.
like Magic Spoon
Sad.
or something like that?
yeah,
That
try Magic Spoon. That might be gluten free.
they might have a gluten-free option in Magic Spoon.
I might have
Maybe.
to look it up. Might have to look
It's
it
like a
look
more
into it.
expensive but healthier version of.
Yeah.
And it fills you up too. You only need one bowl
Oh, man.
instead of 5.
Yeah.
Did you
But
look it
yeah,
up, Chris?
Yeah, so they changed from Sugar Smacks to Honey Smacks because, just changing the type of sugar in a product
Well, at least they didn't call
matters
it
that much.
Yeah, or Shug Smacks.
Sugar Smacks.
or Suge Knight Smacks.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
Lucky Charms though. That's one of my favorites still since a kid. So, but the marshmallows are the best part, and you can buy
I was-
all the marshmallows now you want if you want to.
Yeah, I had a friend whose dad worked at General Mills when I lived in Minnesota. That's where the corporate office was, and he came home one day with just they call them marblets. Just here's a bag of marshmallows that are supposed to go in Lucky Charms, and we lost our minds. And that bag lasted like 10 minutes and it was gone.
Doesn't take long.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Yeah.
take long. They should probably check out Cinnamon Toast Crunch Wrap, huh, Chris?
Oh yeah, yeah, they should. If you haven't already, it's been up on YouTube for what, like 16, 17 years.
Yeah.
Look up the Cinnamon Toast Crunch Wrap.
Okay. I'll put that in my phone.
Yes. It's a great wrap.
It's by a comedian. Actually, we just had him on yesterday.
Yes.
So
it's my friend Marcus. I've known him for a while. He made the wrap, and I guess General Mills actually noticed and sent him a bunch of cereal, actually.
Oh, I thought they sent him a cease and desist.
No, they sent him cereal.
And he said that MTV tried to buy the rights to it, and he said no.
And then he
wow.
said, I probably should have just sold it.
I would have sold it.
So that was funny.
What was he thinking?
I know.
Fool.
Yeah.
Could have been a
seriously.
cereal millionaire.
Or could have. Cinnamon Toast Crunch Wrap millionaire.
Yeah.
So, well, that's all we have for you guys tonight.
Oh.
It's been fun.
Mhm.
I've
thanks,
enjoyed the
it's,
conversation. We've had some good stories.
Yeah, we got plenty more. So if you ever get bored, give us a ring. We'll inundate you with some more for sure.
Hey, we can always have you on again. You know, you got that new music coming out, so you never know.
Yeah, and by the way, so Chad, our drummer, he's like, hey, can I join? I'm like, well, we're kind of doing this at home, and we already filled this form. We're doing it. Us too. He's like, oh, well, next time let me know because I really like doing them. I'm like, bro, we talked about this in the group chat like 2 weeks ago. You didn't even watch it, and I was so mad when he said that I had to privately text and give out to him. Watch our group chat. What are you doing?
Right.
He's so notorious for not.
Yeah, he's notorious. He's aloof sometimes.
It's like he's super invested though, so it's not like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's like he's like super invested, but then he's like, I don't know what's going on ever. You guys don't communicate, and it's like
We have a whole chat, bro.
it's like there's like group chat right here.
We actually had to segregate. We have a shit post and a regular group chat. So so we leave the memes here and the messages here. But yeah, I can let you guys go. Sorry, I was going on
it's
a
fine.
tangent.